And welcome to London Euston on a beautiful February morning. There's a few people having a coffee in the plaza, but as I'm travelling first class today, I think I'll go and get myself a free coffee in the first class lounge. Euston was redeveloped in 1966 as part of the West Coast electrification project, and it's always worth pausing in the travel centre to look at that bonkers 1960s ceiling. Euston has just implemented new departure boards, which I'm sure make things much clearer for passengers, but I do miss the look of the one overall departure board with that lovely Euston typeface. Let's hop across the mezzanine area where there are various eateries and also the rather dodgy Signal Box pub. Dodgy, I say, because you really shouldn't be drinking here. There's the Euston tap outside that has beers 10 times better. And that's me fortified in a room with a view. Right, I've checked on real-time trains and I know my train awaits me at platform 4, so let's get going before it gets announced on these station boards. I think Euston is a pretty good first-class lounge, and I've always enjoyed the time I've spent here. As we ride down the escalator, we're treated to one last look at that lovely Euston station ceiling. Platform 4 is quite handy. Just got to go down the accessible ramps here. And here's our train. It's a Class 390 Pendolino 9-car electric multiple unit, which was built by Alstom between 2001 and 2004. On this journey, it will have a maximum speed of 125 miles per hour or 200 kilometers per hour, although the trains were originally designed and built to run up to 140 miles per hour. And good morning from the very top of platform 4 at London Euston. Behind me there is my train for Glasgow, and I'm reminded of one of my first videos on this channel where I planned to go up from London to Glasgow, in fact exactly a year ago, and there was Storm Franklin or Storm something. That didn't go too well as the power lines got brought down by the storm, and I ended up going from King's Cross to Edinburgh in the end. So this is another chance for me to actually sample the delights of Avanti West Coast in first class. Just going across lunchtime, so I'm looking forward to having a nice lunch and yeah, getting to see some of the beautiful countryside that we've got in England and Scotland, especially going up through Cumbria, so that's certainly going to be fun. But anyway, yeah, I think it's time to wander back down the platform now and try to find my seat and well, come on, let's see how this one goes. Right, while he walks the whole length of the train to get back to his carriage, let's have a look at the route for today. We'll come out of London Euston and blast through the Midlands, avoiding Coventry and Birmingham, and we'll go directly through Cheshire as far as Warrington Bank Quay, with then stops at Wigan North Western, Preston, Lancaster, then through the Lake District to Penrith, Carlisle, and finally through the Scottish borders up to Glasgow Central. It's a fairly wiggly line, as the arrow ahead shows, so the Pendolino tilting technology will really help keep the speed up here. And our journey today is 645 kilometres or 401 miles, and we're timetabled to take 4 hours and 30 minutes. Right, here we are, Coach J. I've got a seat today in a bank of 2, at least I'm forward facing, and I'm on the eastern side of the train. Nice to be in seat 20, which is my American football shirt number. So while we're settling in, let's look at the seat and the facilities. Legroom's going to be fine because that seat's going to remain unoccupied all the way to Glasgow. There's allegedly a power supply here, but it wasn't working on either side of the table during the journey. And there's still the remains of the entertainment systems, which I'm sure are not really working anymore. There's still the good old retractable armrest. And of course it would be remiss in first class if you didn't have a window blind and an overhead reading light. And there is a coat hook. Looking out the window though, platform level at Euston really is grim. It's about time we got away from this place.
Next calling point is Warrington Bank Quay on to Wigan North West. Morning, mate. Sean, how are your service?
At Kensal Green we've already picked up a good bit of speed and are barrelling our way out of London's suburbs. And behind the Royal Mail Distribution Centre we get a little glimpse of the Wembley Stadium arch. And Wembley's looking pretty nice behind all those trains. And the first service of orange juice has already been, and there is promised tea to come. Here it is, a proper Earl Grey tea in a stainless steel teapot. Magic. And we fly through Leighton Buzzard, as we're already cruising at our top speed. Bletchley comes and goes, as does the erstwhile new town of Milton Keynes. And it's always lovely to run alongside a canal, and we soon pick up the Grand Union Canal. In fact, at Wilton Locks, the three great London to Birmingham routes run parallel, with the canal, the railway and the M1 motorway all aligned together. And given that I left home at 6 AM today, this second breakfast of scrambled eggs and toast is very welcome indeed. Nuneaton is the site of a serious rail crash that occurred in June 1975. A sleeper train from Euston to Glasgow derailed just south of the station, causing the train to mount the platform and destroy part of the station buildings. In the end, 6 people lost their lives. Right, let's go for a rather long wander. I'm in J, but the nearest working toilet is in standard class in coach F. This means we have to firstly go through the standard premium and negotiate a pair of rather cute fellow passengers. Somebody looks very comfortable on their first class seat. This toilet was locked off for the whole journey, and honestly I haven't smelt anything quite so bad since I was last at Glastonbury. There's more dogs in standard class, and the train is very full as it's half term. In fact, it's so full that emergency exits are now blocked with cases. Not good. Colwich Junction is where the line to Stone and Stoke peels off, and we get a quick look at the Trent and Mersey Canal. Stafford is a very concretey station built during the 1960s electrification programme. As we arrive at Crewe, we get a quick look at the Transport for Wales push-pull set. Quite fancy a ride on one of those soon. Crewe South Junction signal box was inaugurated in the 1940s and was actually built to be able to withstand an air raid. And Crewe, of course, is where the main line for Manchester heads off to the right. With all these navigable waterways, Warrington was always well placed to expand during the Industrial Revolution. Indeed, there'd been soap manufacturing in Warrington since the 1750s, but this ended in 2020 when Unilever closed the plant which produced Persil and Surf washing powders. And it's just a 10-minute hop to nearby Wigan.
West Coast service to Glasgow Central.
The lines for Wigan Wargate pass underneath ours, and I must say the train's already emptied out quite a lot with these last 2 stops. And crossing the Ribble Viaduct heralds our arrival into Preston. Preston looks lovely, resplendent in its red, green and white. I'm not sure what the historical source of the colour scheme is, so do let me know in the comments if you know.
Calling at Lancaster.
So it's after 12:30 now, so I think I can reasonably start on one of the free beers. They're offering one from London and one from Glasgow, so I thought I'd start off with the Glasgow one.
Approaching Lancaster.
Apparently Lancaster Station was remodelled between 1900 and 1906 in a mock Elizabethan style to mirror the nearby Lancaster Castle.
Welcome on board this
A lady asked for a waffle earlier in the journey, but they were out of stock, so the host messaged ahead to Preston to get some more put on the train for her. Wasn't that nice?
Here we go, the waffle. Okay.
And as it was time for lunch, I had a toasted cheese sandwich and thought I'd better try the London beer. Oxenholme marks the branch off to Kendal and Windermere, and also the start of what should be some excellent Cumbrian scenery. The now disused Lowgill Viaduct formerly carried the Ingleton branch line. And up we climbed towards Shap Summit following the River Lune. And we're certainly getting up into the clouds now. Can't see much at all. But at least we're over Shap now and we can coast down the other side. Penrith Station dates from 1846 and is Grade 2 listed, and it's worth a mention that Penrith was the last station in Britain to have mail collected by a moving train, a practice which ceased in 1971. And now it's time for a quick race through the north of Cumbria to Carlisle and the border. Carlisle Citadel Station was built in 1847 and is a real gem. Do check out my video of the run from here to Newcastle if you'd like to see more of Carlisle Station. Also, it's the first time we see a ScotRail train, which is waiting in the northbound bay to form a service to Glasgow via Dumfries and Kilmarnock. We will be taking another 70 minutes to get to Glasgow. The ScotRail service will be taking 2 hours and 30 minutes. As we leave Carlisle, there's still time for some very nice chocolates and a coffee. And while I'm tucking into my chocolates, we pass seamlessly into Scotland. The bright sun does highlight how threadbare the carpet is. But the best way to fix that problem is to just keep looking outside at these lovely views. And we'll see a lot of the A74M as it tracks the route of the West Coast Mainline. And it's always nice to race the traffic and win. The Pendolino tilt is very noticeable in this section. And now the sun's out, the Scottish borders are proving to be the nicest part of the journey today. Carstairs Junction forms a triangle where the line to Edinburgh curves away to the east and we press on northwest to Glasgow. The Dalzell Steel and Iron Works at Motherwell provided steel to build both the Titanic and the Queen Mary. So, as we are just coming into Glasgow, let's have a look at what this cost me. Well, my first class Advance single cost me £72.40 or €82.20, which included my railcard discount. Without the discount, it would have been about £109. All in all, I think that reflects pretty fair value considering the service on board, and it'll definitely get better when the refurbished 390s start to be rolled out on this route. So nothing left but to bridge the River Clyde and get into Glasgow Central. And here we are at Glasgow Central, under the beautiful Glasgow Central roof. Well, we got here roughly on time, maybe 5 minutes late, but it was a lovely run. Excellent food and excellent service. It was a non-refurbished 390 Pendolino. You could definitely tell it needs refurbishment, that's for sure. The seat needed a lot more support and the carpets were very threadbare. But the staff were incredibly attentive, the food was lovely, just what I needed, and I feel refreshed after a journey all the way from Exeter. I hope you enjoyed this ride to Glasgow from London Euston. I certainly did, and I'm really pleased I managed to make it this time on a lovely day. So I'm ready to play some American football this weekend. So if you have enjoyed this run, then please give it a like and put a comment down below. Do you like the West Coast better than the East Coast? What's your choice? Me, I'm kind of on the fence here. So yeah, I'd like to hear what you have to say. I release a travel video every Friday, so yes, if you've enjoyed this one, then please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. But in the meantime, from Glasgow Central, it's goodbye and thank you very much for watching.